Thank you for choosing Ace of Diamonds Painting. My name is Tyson. I'm the project manager here. Basically, at this point in the process, the sales team has handed off your job to myself and our project management team, and we're pretty much ready to start talking about your job, and we'll be giving you introductions. We'll ask you some questions about your job, and we'll start to kind of develop a tentative schedule and make sure that we have everything that we need to move forward and that we provide you the information that you need to get ready for us. Before we start this job and your project for you, there's a lot of variables and details that we need to go over with you. You should already have your colors. If you do not, we can work with you to get those finalized. Sometimes we have to work with the HOA and you have to get HOA approval. Stuff like that. Our typical project schedule can be anywhere from a week to a month, however long that process takes. And as a project manager, I'll be reaching out to you periodically to touch base. Once we do get everything ready to go, we'll start talking about a tentative schedule and kind of what that process looks like. Usually we try to give you a week window, and then we'll narrow it down as we start getting closer. We try not to do a day specifically when we could be there. Sometimes it's hard just with balancing crews, other jobs, and also the weather. A couple other variables. We'll be able to nail down a couple dates and we'll make sure to be there for you. Once we have the final schedule locked, there's going to be some things that you can do to help us out before we arrive to your site. For exterior projects, anything hanging on your surfaces, wind chimes, awnings, things like that, we just ask that you go ahead and take those down for us. Patio furniture, stuff like that, if it can be moved into the garage or somewhere out of the way, that'd be awesome. Or at least a couple feet of distance from the painting surfaces that we'll be touching. For interior jobs, kind of the same thing. If you have picture frames, paintings, stuff like that, anything on the walls, we'll ask that those come down, and any larger furniture, stuff like that, moved or placed into the center of the room. For exterior homes, before we start the painting process, before we start any prep, we're going to want to do a power wash on the outside of the home. Our standard is to power wash everything. We might only be painting the front of your house, but we like to make everything look fresh. The power wash is a very important part of our process. Basically, it's going to clear out any debris, dirt, stuff like that that's on the side of the house or the building, and it just allows the paint to adhere properly to the surface. With the power washes, typically we like to get those scheduled before the actual project start date. If that's not possible, then we will do the power wash first thing when we start. We typically like to give a couple hours at least for the surfaces to dry out. Some surfaces are different and may only need a couple hours. Other surfaces we like to let dry overnight, so keep that in mind throughout this process. So after the power wash is completed, our crew will jump into prep work. This primarily involves caulking areas that need caulking around windows trims, any gaps in the soffits. Basically, we try to get caulk in anything where you could fit a pinhead into. They're also going to nail back some nails and caulk those if needed. And then they'll start sanding and painting primer on all the bare wood spots. Then after prep is complete, they're going to jump right into painting. Once they start the paint application, it does move really fast. You'll be surprised at how quickly a crew can spray the house. Primarily, we're going to be using a sprayer for the big areas like the siding, soffits, stuff like that. And then after the body is sprayed, we jump into brushing and rolling like your trim and your fascia, gutters, and those areas as well. As we move throughout the painting process, some areas are going to look like touch-ups are needed. Your house might even look like a mess at that point. Really, we're going to take over the house and tackle everything. So masking will be in places, paper might be on your house, so your house is not going to look the best at that point. But throughout that process, we try to keep the site clean. Our crew is going to clean up at the end of each day, so leave your place looking as nice as possible. But just to give you a heads up, some of those issues do arise, and our crew does like to work in the shade as well, so half of your house on one side might not look done one day. Rest assured, we're going to go through everything. Our crew wants to be in the shade as much as possible, but when we get to those spots, they're just going to keep working around the house until they do finish up. We like to check for those deficiencies right away, like drips are a big one. We ask our crews, you see a drip, you need to fix it right there. But sometimes they miss a drip and they might have to come back and actually sand it down and then repaint that area. Some of our miss, we see a deficiency right away, we try to take care of that as soon as possible. We get to projects sometimes, change orders do come up. We might notice a piece of wood that might be rotted out, maybe some siding that was damaged, and we'll bring some of those issues up to you if we notice them. And at that point, that would be a change order. Change orders do happen frequently. With our processes, we'll go ahead and look at the problem, find the solution, and then we'll let you know the price on that. And we will not proceed with the change order until we receive your approval. So once a team is basically nearing the completion of the painting project, either myself or someone else on our project team will go ahead and visit the site, and they're going to go ahead and do a final walk with the crew. They're going to look for any touch-ups that are needed, any deficiencies, just things like that don't meet our quality expectations, and we have the crew fix those right away. Once all those issues are taken care of and we feel that we have a solid final product for you, we'll go ahead and try to do a final walk with you. Typically myself will reach out to you and we'll try to schedule a time for that. But we do want to do a final walk with you. That way we can point out any issues or things we fixed. And that also gives you a chance to look everything over, and if you notice something, we'll have the crew right there able to fix that right away for you. So once the final walk is completed, we're going to go ahead and go over a final walk form that we have. Basically, it's just a sign off that we'll have you complete. Documentation purposes, we like to keep that on file. It just acknowledges that we completed your job to the scope of work, and essentially that you are happy with the product. After the completion of that form, you'll have an invoice already, but we're going to ask for final payment. Typically, I'll send the invoice the day before our completion date. That way you know what you owe, and once we're done with the final walk, we could take credit card on the spot, or if you want to have a check ready for us, that'd be much appreciated. So our goal with every project is to provide outstanding communication, outstanding customer service, and a high quality paint job. Our goal is to get a 5-star review from you at the end of your project. We just ask that you go on Google, leave a photo, and just a solid 5-star review for us. That helps us out with leads and our website, and it essentially helps us out and enables us to grow our customer base and build our business. Again, my name is Tyson Stenson. I'm the project manager here. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at 720-340-3526.